This case was used as a means to foment hate.
A stunning verdict. A man found not guilty in a San Francisco woman's murder. Reaction from the White House into Kate Steinle's murder case.
A major snag. Republican lawmakers reworking their tax bill to get the votes they need. What's keeping some leaders from supporting this plan?
From the second you walk in to the ski and snowboard bench, you know something's a little different here. How the Winter Sports School is inspiring and educating the next generation of Olympians.
KCRA 3 News at 6 starts right now.
We begin this morning with a live look here over Sacramento. You could hit a little patchy fog on your way into work this morning, but it will clear out as we make our way through the day. It looks like it's going to be otherwise very nice Friday.
Yeah, just kind of a cool start, so be ready for that. 6 o'clock, I'm Deirdre Fitzpatrick.
And I'm Mateo Torres. Let's head it over to meteorologist Tamara Birch, checking on our cold forecast as of right now, but weekend looks okay.
Yeah, the weekend, it looks like it's going to hold together for any outdoor plans you have during the daylight hours, but there is one area of concern where we could see some rain and snow develop, and I'll talk more about that coming up in a little bit. Let's get you outside, get your Friday started this first day of December. Warm beverage in hand. You may have to have the seat warmers on yet again and the heater in the car. Live look at our Fairfield sky cam, and things are looking pretty clear from this vantage point as we overlook Interstate 80. You can see the headlights and the taillights there moving on by. We've got no Fairfield fog to talk of, but once you get west of Fairfield, you may see a few patches here and there heading out towards the bay. We have about 1.5 miles visibility currently in Sacramento, and you can see just that main thoroughfare of I-5, 99, seeing the fog and visibility anywhere from 2 to 5 miles as you travel in and out of Stockton and Modesto. Be prepared for that. It's cool outside. We have upper 30s across the valley, mid to upper 40s in the foothills, and 20s right now in the Sierra. So be prepared for the fog and a cool morning. Fog clears after 9 a.m., turning mostly sunny by the afternoon. Coming up, we'll show you what's ahead and when the rain and snow may hit over the weekend. It is 6:02. Let's check in now with Tish Palmedesi and see where she's finding fog in her sky cams.
Yeah, as you head out the door this Friday morning, give yourself a couple extra minutes to turn on those seat warmers and the heater as you head out the door. We do have fog, as Tamara reported, seeing it most heavy along portions of I-5 and 99 right now through the Pocket, Elk Grove area this morning. Also up towards the airport, so if you have an early morning flight, you will see the fog there. Getting reports of a crash westbound 50 near Bradshaw, and then if you travel through the North Highlands area, we have a crash eastbound Antelope Road at Willerga Road there, and the clearing stage is blocking a couple of lanes there. And heading out in San Joaquin County, westbound 580 at Corral Hollow Road, overturned Big Rig on the right-hand shoulder, causing some slowdowns through Tracy. Deirdre?
All right, thank you. At 6:02 happening today, Senate Republicans are going to make some major changes to the tax bill as they scramble to get enough votes to pass legislation.
Now, the first revamp of the tax code in 3 decades would affect nearly every American and business. Jennifer Davis is live in our Washington newsroom this morning with who's still holding out. Jennifer?
Good morning, Teo and Deirdre. We do expect more action in the Senate today, but no question this was at least a temporary setback for Senate Republicans over deficit concerns. The Senate Republican tax bill did look to be gaining some momentum yesterday as GOP holdouts like Alaska's Lisa Murkowski and Arizona's John McCain announced that they are now on board. But then things hit a snag. Republicans ended the day without a vote, and the sticking point is the deficit. New analysis by the nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation found the measure would add $1 trillion to the nation's debt over the next decade. So now the GOP is redrawing the bill to reduce the size of tax cuts and appease deficit hawks. Leaders can only afford to lose 2 votes, and there are still holdouts.
We're on the cusp of a great victory for the country, and particularly for small business.
Party of Reagan is on a mad dash to run up the deficit by $1 trillion, slow down the economy, and raise taxes on more than half of the middle class.
The president tweeted this morning on the subject saying Republican senators are working hard to pass the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. He said this tax bill just keeps getting better and better. We expect to see the Senate resume action today at the top of the hour. Back to you.
All right, Jennifer, thank you.
Well, the shooting death of a San Francisco woman that put the city's sanctuary city policy into the national spotlight has reignited the immigration debate. A jury has now handed down a not guilty verdict in Kate Steinle's murder. After about 28 hours of deliberations, the defendant, Jose Garcia Zarate, was acquitted on all but one charge. From the very beginning, defense attorneys had said that Steinle's death was an accident. The 32-year-old was killed on a San Francisco pier in July of 2015. Garcia Zarate's attorney says that his client found the gun and that it accidentally went off. They argued that the bullet had ricocheted off concrete and hit Steinle.
I don't really think we deserve any congratulations. The physical evidence pointed to this outcome.
And the jury came back with the verdict that they did. We will respect that decision. But again, can't stress this enough. This really is about the Steinle family. They've shown incredible resolve during this whole process.
And Jose Garcia Zarate was convicted of being a felon in possession of a firearm. He will be sentenced for that charge in 2 weeks. He's an undocumented immigrant. His arrest has sparked a national debate because he had been arrested and deported to Mexico 5 times before that pier shooting. President Trump is using the verdict to push for his proposed border wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. He tweeted this morning, "The Kate Steinle killer came back and back over the weakly protected Obama border, always committing crimes and being violent. And yet this info was not used in court. His exoneration is a complete travesty of justice. Build that wall." Since Steinle's death, the president has advocated for 2 bills to crack down on undocumented immigrants. Kate's Law was designed to increase maximum penalties for people who re-enter the U.S. after deportation. Another bill denied the federal funds to sanctuary cities like San Francisco. Both bills passed the House and ultimately stalled in the Senate.
Well, House Democrats are calling on Michigan Congressman John Conyers to resign following sexual misconduct accusations against him. Several women, including a former staffer, say the 88-year-old Democrat sexually harassed them for years. Top House Democrat Nancy Pelosi is now putting pressure on Congressman Conyers to step down. Now, his spokesman says he will not resign because he's innocent. Conyers remains in a Detroit hospital this morning undergoing treatment for stress. Also this morning, we are hearing more from the 5th woman now to accuse Senator Franken of groping them. Army veteran Stephanie Kemplin says it happened in 2003 when she was deployed in Kuwait. She says Senator Franken, who was a comedian at the time, was on a USO tour. Kemplin says he grabbed her breast while she was taking a picture with him.
He put his hand on my breast, and I just remember just freezing up. So stupid. Why didn't you say something? I'm in the Army. I'm fighting in a war. Why didn't I slap him across the face? Why didn't I say, excuse me, even if it's been 14 years, even if it's been 14 months, 14 days, it's never too late to stand up for yourself and say that it was wrong.
She says she forgives the senator and does not want him to lose his job, but wants to empower others to speak up. Franken has publicly apologized, but says he has no plans to resign. By the way, a new survey out finds men and women don't always agree on what actually constitutes sexual harassment. The Barna Group surveyed 1,000 people. 96% of women and 86% of men thought touching or groping counted as harassment. However, 24% of men thought flashing someone didn't count, compared to 11% of women.
Well, happening today, thousands of runners will be able to pick up their packets for the California International Marathon. The annual race is this Sunday, and KCRA 3's Brian Hickey is joining us live in Sacramento with how the race route could impact a lot of other weekend plans.
Yeah, of course, that means road closures with the 26.2-mile course winding from Folsom down here to downtown Sacramento. And, well, it also means a fun time if you want to come down to the expo, check out all the cool stuff they have on display at the expo, or come out along the course and cheer on the runners for what is expected to be the largest California International Marathon in the 35-year history of that event. And it's going to be a great weekend out here, as not only is it the 35th annual CIM, but it's also hosting the U.S. National Marathon Championship. So some of the top runners in the country here vying for a national title. We're expecting 11,000 marathoners to take to the start line Sunday morning, another 3,500 relayers taking part, and then 3,500 runners in the UC Davis Children's Hospital Marathon Run 5K. 18,000 runners pounding the pavement on Sunday, and they're expected to bring out another 55,000 spectators to watch this national championship.
It's our anniversary year. It's the U.S. Marathon Championship. We're looking like we're going to have great weather this week and record numbers of people coming here to Sacramento, and it's going to be a really exciting week.
And if you are coming out to check out the course, they say don't come to the start line to be a spectator. Drop off your runners and then head further down the course. It's just too crowded there along Auburn-Folsom Road. Mile 6, the corner of Oak Avenue at Fair Oaks Boulevard. There's going to be a DJ there. That's a good spot. Mile 10, the town of Fair Oaks, where you can see the free-range chickens roaming around. Mile 12 and a half, just before the halfway point at Carmichael's California Family Fitness. That's along Fair Oaks Boulevard at McLean Road. Another band there and a sign-making station. Mile 13.5 at Fair Oaks Boulevard and Manzanita Avenues, the Relay Exchange, always a fun point to catch out the action. Mile 20.5, Loman's Plaza near Fair Oaks Boulevard. That's the wall, usually where people start to fall apart. That's where you see the misery setting in on their faces, and that's where they could use a little pick-me-up from you. And at mile 25.7, down to the finish line, the wall of sound where people line up and cheer on those runners as they are counting those descending numbers of streets heading toward the Capitol here for that 26.2 mile finish, which will be right here. So come on down, check it out. But again, keep an eye on those road closures if you're trying to get anywhere Sunday morning. Really between 7 and 8 a.m. is where you're going to see the bulk of the road closures as the CIM takes to Sacramento. Back to you guys.
All right, a good heads up. Thank you, Brian. 6:10 now. Sacramento County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a series of robberies that have taken place at liquor stores. Some of them were caught on camera. Deputies say the thieves targeted businesses in unincorporated parts of North and South Sacramento County. The crimes happened over the course of 8 days this month. They say the armed suspects confront the clerks and demand cash from the register. They also steal cigarettes. They rob customers inside those stores. 2 cars are associated with those robberies, a gray or silver Dodge Stratus that had a broken rear passenger window covered with tape. And then the other car is a gray or silver Ford Taurus. Both of them had paper plates. In Citrus Heights, police say an 86-year-old woman is in the hospital after 3 men robbed a Rite Aid pharmacy on Auburn Boulevard. On their way out, one of the suspects ran into the woman as she was trying to enter the store. She fell and she was knocked unconscious. She's now in critical condition. Here's a look at those 3 men. The Rite Aid is offering a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest.
History will be made today in Sacramento. Police Department will swear in its first African-American female sergeant. Sabrina Briggs, seen here, has worked a decade for the police department. Former high school and college basketball star from Elk Grove tells KCRA 3 her road to success kind of got off to a rocky start. See, during a search training in the academy, Briggs missed a weapon, and she was actually kicked out 2 weeks before graduation. She eventually returned to the academy a few weeks later and is now earning this high rank.
It's still kind of sinking in. I don't really know how to take it. I'm honored.
A swearing-in ceremony is this afternoon at 3 o'clock at the Crest Theater. Sergeant Briggs will be promoted along with several other officers.
It is 6:13 now. They've decked the halls, to say the least.
Now we're taking you on a holiday home tour, while you may want to bring your toe shoes and tutus.
And how players in the NFL are lending a helping hand by putting their best cleat forward.
And welcome to the first day of December. Forecast-wise, not a whole lot of change today, but as we head towards the weekend, there are some changes, including rain and snow as part of your forecast. We'll show you when to expect it coming up next.
New this morning, the 44th annual East Sacramento Holiday Home Tour is starting today. This year's traditional Sacred Heart Parish School fundraiser is coming, however, with a unique twist. A designer who grew up wishing that she would one day decorate one of those feature homes gets to feature her work.
Mike Tell has a look at her festive theme and how it kind of ties into the Sacramento Ballet anniversary.
Good morning. We are at 47th Street and we have a sneak peek of one of the signature homes this year, 6 in all for the Sacred Heart Parish fundraiser holiday home tour. This year, again, 6 homes, that's 1 extra, but this one, you might notice the theme right away. It's the Nutcracker home. Why is that significant? Well, this is also the 30th anniversary of Ron Cunningham's Nutcracker in Sacramento. So this home meant to kind of celebrate that anniversary for this year's holiday home tour. And what is really cool is talking to the designer, not only did she want to put every room with a different part of the actual Nutcracker itself, but also the memories that it evokes for her, she's hoping will inspire others to follow her footsteps.
I hope it brings back memories. I think a lot of people in Sacramento went to the Nutcracker as children, and so, you know, it brings back feelings of family and holidays and warmth, and I hope it gets them in the holiday spirit.
It's the 30th anniversary of Ron Cunningham's The Nutcracker in Sacramento, and it's a holiday tradition that's been going on for decades, and pretty much most people in Sacramento have been in the Nutcracker at one point in time, so it really is a family tradition.
Now again, the holiday home tour all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can get tickets at the Sacred Heart Parish School. And again, if you do the tour, remember to stop by the Nutcracker house, because each room themed as a different part of the Nutcracker, including the backyard. In Sacramento, Mike Tassell, KCRA 3 News.
Thank you, Mike. Proceeds raised from the Holiday Home Tour and Boutique Cafe support tuition assistance for students at the Sacred Heart Parish School. It is 6:17 now. Chilly start to the day, a little patchy fog out there, but clouds, we understand, going to clear out, making way for a nice Friday.
Yeah, Friday is looking fantastic once we get through this fog, and not everybody's in the fog layer. In fact, as you enjoy this live look from our downtown Sacramento sky cam, it's just looking a little hazy, but at least you could probably look up and still see from that thin layer of clouds some stars shining and twinkling this morning. It is chilly. Get ready for another cool morning start. 37 in Sacramento, down to 39 this morning heading out in Stockton. Modesto likely to see some thicker rounds of fog, upper 30s right now, and 25 currently at the south shore of Lake Tahoe, also waking up to a starry morning before the sun peaks out probably in the next hour. We have visibility down to about 1.5 miles in parts of Stockton, and then you travel southbound out of the Stockton area, I-5, 99, Highway 4, 120. You're going to be in that fog bank. About a 1/4 mile visibility reported all across much of Stanislaus County. So heads up if you commute around Waterford, Oakdale areas, Ceres, Keys, and in through Turlock. It is really going to be foggy, and we're also seeing some thicker fog out near Sacramento National Airport and parts of the pocket area around Sacramento County. So the fog should clear pretty quickly yet again, just after the 9 o'clock hour. And then here we go, setting up for your weekend. Let me show you the weather system we've been advertising all week long. This is going to drop southeastward as we get into Saturday. I do expect that by Saturday night, we could see a couple of areas start to fill in with a little bit of rain and some higher elevation mountain snow. But today, on the first day of December, as we open the book, don't forget flip those desktop calendars over. We're in the low 60s. Average this time of year is about 58. So we're going to be warming just a hair above that average. But walking you through the weekend, I do think that there are going to be many areas that are going to be left pretty much rain free. So outdoor plans, I'd keep those intact. This is today, and we will see a bit of an increase in clouds tonight. You'll wake up to your Saturday morning and you'll see overcast skies, and you may be wondering, okay, is it going to rain? I don't expect any raindrops to hit Sacramento or points northward until after about 10 o'clock in the evening. And then this is a really fast moving system as it dips south and east of our area. By Sunday morning, that is going to leave us with clearing skies for Sunday and a dry forecast for Sunday. But if you're traveling in and out of the mountains this weekend, just be prepared. There may be a brief moment that those chain controls go up, especially Saturday evening and early Sunday on those mountain passes. Today it's fog, turning mostly sunny, low 60s. It's cooler over the weekend with upper 50s, and we're dry heading into next week with temperatures in the 50s to low 60s. It is 6:20 right now. Let's get a check of your morning commute on this Friday. Tish also tracking the fog on her cameras for us.
That's right. And right now, heading out the door, the only real advisory that CHP has issued is further south in the Modesto area, south of that near Ceres, Turlock, as Tamara mentioned, traveling between Stanislaus and Merced County this morning. That's where the thickest fog is, according to CHP. Heading out the door in Sacramento, it is another morning of patchy fog. So if you do usually see fog on those foggy mornings, you likely will today. This is a look Interstate 80 at Truxell as you head through the Natomas area, and you can see that haze in the street lamps there. So again, just prepare for that as you head out the door in the Sacramento area. Also seeing on portions of I-5 as you head towards the airport and even towards Pocket, and 99 as you travel through Elk Grove. Traveling through North Highlands area, we still have crews on the scene of a crash eastbound Antelope Road and Walurga, and then heading out on 50, we have a crash westbound 50 at Bradshaw there off on the right-hand shoulder, not causing any slowdowns, but you will see some activity out there. Teo?
All right, thank you. It is 6:21. It's kind of like Hogwarts for Olympians, where America's future gold medalists trade snowboards for blackboards.
With just 70 days left until the opening ceremony for the Winter Olympics, school is pretty cool at a high school where everyone has basically the same dream. That dream is to be the best in the world at a winter sport, and it is the high school where Olympians are made. Welcome to the Winter Sports School, where the sports vary.
I did Nordic combined. I'm an alpine ski racer.
Speed skating, long track, speed skating.
But the goals,
an Olympic aerialist for the 2022 Olympics.
Sound.
My goal is to be an Olympic gold medalist.
The same.
My goal is to be an Olympic gold medalist someday.
They have textbooks, they have lockers, we have a lunch hour, they have student-led classes, and that way it's very much a traditional school.
But look at the walls, the stunning number of kids wearing ski beanies in class, or the Warren Miller ski movie that doubles as the bathroom pass, and you realize that these kids are as serious about their studies as they are about the snow.
They're very goal-oriented. They're used to somebody saying, this is the process, we put the pieces together, and we get the end result.
The school year runs from April through November, and the kids here attend classes 40 fewer days per year than other public school kids. So the curriculum is condensed, and they move through things quickly.
I'm free all winter, so I can travel without having to work a school like everyone else on my team does.
It allows me to do what I love at a high level.
The Winter Sports School, driven to succeed both on and off the snow. So the Winter Sports School is a public charter school. Most of the students do live in Park City and in Salt Lake City.
It's a public school. I mean, is it difficult to get into? I'm sure there's not many spots because it's a charter school.
Yeah, it is, but they have an incredibly diverse student body, and there are kids who have moved from other parts of the country to go live and go there because they're able to finish school in that traditional setting.
That is very interesting. Cool. It is 6:26 still ahead. KCRA 3, your home, of course, all things Olympics. Deirdre's going to be in South Korea covering, of course, the biggest competitions and talking to Northern California athletes. How many days do you have left?
Well, I just said a minute ago there are 70 days.
70 days. There you go. Yeah, I thought you did.
Put the fear in me. I can tell you that.
Exactly.
But you can follow along. I do have a blog, Deirdre's Diary. If you go to our KCRA News app, you can find it there.
Well, new this morning, the Oakland Raiders, they are joining with players across the league to wear these custom cleats that reflect their commitment to charitable causes. It's part of the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats campaign. During Sunday's matchup, the entire organization will wear personalized footwear. Each player's cleat is tied to a charity. 100% of the proceeds go to the foundations. Fans can also bid on the shoes on the league's website.
And we do have a special report, breaking news out of Washington, D.C. And here is NBC with news on the former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Savannah Guthrie.
And good morning. We have breaking news this morning in the Russia investigation. Michael Flynn, the president's former national security advisor, will plead guilty this morning to making false statements to the FBI. NBC Justice correspondent Pete Williams is on the phone with us now. And Pete, we're just getting this information and looking at the court documents. What is this plea about and what is its significance?
Well, it's probably the least count that he could have been charged with. He's agreed to plead guilty. He'll be in court in about an hour, and he'll plead guilty to lying to the FBI when he initially told investigators that he had not been in contact with the Russians about their response to sanctions. This was the offense that the White House cited in letting him go early on in the Trump administration. Given all his other potential exposure, all the questions about whether he accepted money from the Russians, all the other questions about being an unregistered federal agent for a foreign country, this is probably the least that the Mueller team could have brought against him and signals that he's agreed to cooperate, Savannah.
That's exactly where I wanted to go with it, Pete. If it's just it's a serious charge, of course, a false statements charge. But as you mentioned, there could have been other charges. It does raise the specter of whether or not Michael Flynn has decided to cooperate with prosecutors, whether he's talking to them. And there have been signals recently that perhaps that's exactly what's going on.
This is a negotiated plea. This is a plea agreement. This is the kind of court document that's filed when someone has agreed to plead guilty. But you can be sure that his lawyers didn't say that he would plead guilty in return for nothing from Mueller's team. And this is a sign that he's going to cooperate with them. And who knows what sort of additional information they'll get from him. But I think it's also a signal to other people that Mueller is investigating that if you deal with us, if you work a deal with us, if you agree to cooperate, we'll go easier on you.
Absolutely. Pete, stand by there if you would as we bring in NBC's White House correspondent Kristen Welke, who's been covering these issues. And as Pete just laid out so well, Kristen, it appears that Michael Flynn is cooperating with federal prosecutors in their Russia investigation. And if he has flipped, as the colloquial proverbial term says, and he's going to help them with their case. The question arises, who might he be fingering next?
Well, of course, the concerns are that he might be getting closer to President Trump. That is the concern within the administration and among some of the closest allies to the president. This is what we know, Savannah. The president's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, is expected to plead guilty to making false statements to the FBI. The complaint states Flynn willfully and knowingly made false statements in January of 2017, just days after President Trump's inauguration. Now, this comes after NBC News reported that the pressure had been intensifying around Flynn in recent weeks. Federal investigators have gathered enough evidence to bring charges in their investigation of Flynn. It also comes after lawyers for Flynn notified the president's legal team that Flynn would no longer share information with them, as they had been doing regularly. And as you've been discussing with Pete, that's a potential sign that Flynn may be cooperating with investigators. Now, just to remind everyone, Flynn is under scrutiny for his foreign lobbying work involving Russia and Turkey, and was fired just about 24 days on the job. Savannah.
That's right. And Flynn was, of course, a senior campaign official and a close advisor to the president, and is very much at the center of the campaign in the early days of the transition administration. We will follow this. We'll have more updates as news warrants. For now, we return most of you to more of today. I'm Savannah Guthrie in New York. This has been an NBC News special report.
KCRA 3 News at 6 continues.
Good morning. It's 6:31. I'm Deirdre Fitzpatrick.
And I'm Teo Torres. We want to check on weather now. It's Friday. We are heading into the weekend, and it is another cool start, and it is December 1st.
It is, yeah. Here we go. Welcoming December, much like we left November. We've got fog out there again, and it is chilly once you head out the door to begin this Friday. At least Friday's here. We've made it through the work week, and now we're cruising into the weekend. A live look outside at our Sacramento sky cam showcasing just some thin, hazy skies as some of those high clouds and low clouds are kind of brushing together this morning. Let me show you how thick that fog is, especially for folks waking up with us in Stockton and Modesto. We can see how thick it is from this visibility report this morning. About a quarter-mile visibility in through Modesto and pretty much all across Stanislaus County. And then that fog is thick in parts of Stockton along the I-5, 99, Highway 4 corridors. Be prepared for a slower than average work commute as you get into that fog layer. Temperatures spread upper 30s to low 40s, 37 right now in Stockton and Sacramento, up and through Marysville, 39 right now in Modesto, mid to upper 40s in through the foothills, and temperatures are in the teens right now around Truckee. So your forecast over the next couple of hours as we head closer to the hour after sunrise should be patchy fog out there, and then clearing between 9 and 10 a.m. with upper 40s in the mix by 10 o'clock. Coming up, we'll show you the forecast as we head into the weekend and the chances for rain and snow. It is 6:32. Let's get a look at your early morning commute with Tish Palmadesi.
And stepping out for your Friday commute this morning, the only real spot that we have an advisory for that fog that Tamara was talking about is further south of Modesto, down between Stanislaus and Merced counties. But stepping out in other areas, you may see that fog as well. This is a look I-5 at Grant Line Road, and you can see the haze there as you step out the door. I'm seeing the thickest conditions right now as you travel through the Pocket area along portions of I-5 and heading out in Elk Grove on 99. We had an earlier crash in the North Highlands area, eastbound Antelope Road and Willerga Road off of the interstate. They do still have crews still on the scene there, blocking a couple lanes of that intersection. And then heading on down into San Joaquin County, seeing some fog along portions of I-5, 99 in the Crosstown Freeway. This is 99 at Waterloo, and you can really see that haze out there. Then also an earlier crash westbound 58 at Corral Hollow Road has been cleared, but now we have a new one westbound 205 at MacArthur that is causing some slowdowns as you travel through Tracy. Teo, Deirdre.
All right, thank you, Tish.
Well, the final countdown is on for the California International Marathon. It's coming up this weekend.
In KCRA 3's Brian Hickey's live in Sacramento with what spectators need to know. Brian.
Yeah, of course, we're going to need some road closures, and there's going to be a whole lot of fun out here for the 35th annual California International Marathon. This will be the finish line here on Sunday, and already they've got some security cameras out here monitoring the area as they get ready for the setup of the CIM, which will actually be happening tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. They will shut down the Capitol Mall between 8th Street and 10th Street here as they get ready to set up the finish line for Sunday's big event. So here's what we can expect come Sunday, the largest CIM yet, 35th annual event, where they're expecting 11,000 marathoners to hit the course, 3,500 relay runners, and 3,500 taking part in the UC Davis Children's Hospital Marathon Run 5K. 18,000 people in all taking part in the race weekend, with another 55,000 spectators expected to come out to the course. And this is a big deal for our community. This event raises about $11 million in economic impact for Sacramento, donates hundreds of thousands of dollars to local charities, and it's just a really fun community event. So if you're going to come out and cheer on the runners, again, don't go to the start line. There's many places along the course where you can cheer them on. And of course, if you're trying to get anywhere Sunday, like trying to get to church early in the morning, well, watch out for those road closures. It all starts around 4 a.m. at Auburn-Folsom Road. They'll be shutting that down from Eureka, where they're getting ready to get the folks dropped off for the start line. Then, of course, Oak Avenue is a big main line for the CIM. Fair Oaks Boulevard, another big route, bringing them on down into town and going through Sunrise at around 7:15. They'll be shutting that down. J Street around 8 a.m. And then here at Capitol Mall, 8 a.m. tomorrow, again, they'll be shutting that down all the way through later in the evening, 5 p.m. on Sunday, as they clean it all up after CIM. So those road closures, again, right around 7 to 8 a.m. if you're trying to go anywhere along Oak Avenue, Fair Oaks, that area, you can expect those closures to be in place. But otherwise, if you can get around it, go for it. Come on out there and cheer on those runners. Bring your posters, bring your cowbells. Can't get enough cowbell when it comes to CIM on a Sunday. Back to you guys.
All right, Brian, thanks. We've got conditions that we're going to be looking out for as far as the weather is concerned. A lot of folks are interested in that. And it looks like we have, well, there's a chance for a little bit of rain that's supposed to be moving in on Saturday. But right now, it looks like by Sunday morning, just in time for the marathon, things will be clearing up. And so by 7 a.m., if you're going to be starting off there at 7 a.m., we're looking at temperature 44 degrees in the Folsom area with a southerly breeze at only 3 miles per hour, partly cloudy skies. I don't think we'll see much of a chance for any fog because there'll be just enough breeze and just enough cloud cover to kind of hold that down. Now, midway through the race, here we are at 13.1 miles. As you can see, temperatures, if you're running, again, a 4-hour marathon, so at 9 o'clock, midway, we're looking at a temperature of 47 degrees, west wind blowing at 5 miles per hour, again with partly cloudy skies. Finishing up at that same pace, that means you're going to be there about finish line around 11 o'clock and expect to have temperature of 52 degrees with a northwest breeze blowing at 6 miles per hour under partly cloudy skies. So as far as race conditions go with the weather, it's looking pretty good for the forecast. That's a look at the weather now. Back over to you.
It's not good. That's actually excellent.
She was like drooling here. I'm loving it. All right, thank you.
It's really nice. All right, 6:36 in other news this morning. There is some fallout now from a bombshell acquittal that's happened in a murder trial from San Francisco, and it's led to a nationwide immigration debate.
The man accused of shooting and killing Kate Steinle on a pier in San Francisco in 2015 has been found not guilty. NBC's Gotti Schwartz is covering the case for the Today Show.
Good morning, Teo. Good morning, Deirdre. If you recall, this case was really at the center of the presidential campaign's debate over illegal immigration and sanctuary cities. But during the trial, immigration didn't come up very often. In fact, most of the case was revolving around witness testimony, ballistics reports, and what the defense said was a bullet that ricocheted off the concrete and hit Kate Steinle, the victim here. At Pier 14, where this happened, you see candles. You also see this picture of Kate Steinle with some people writing messages saying "rest in peace," but also featured prominently on her picture, next to her picture, are other messages of "your death will be avenged" and "build the wall." So that's some of the sentiment that we're seeing here at Pier 14 and online. And we're going to have more coming up on our live report. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Gotti. A bold crime in broad daylight. Now Stockton police need your help finding a car thief. Take a look here. Surveillance video from West Acacia Street. Man seen here loading up the back of a silver Chrysler PT Cruiser. Another man wearing a pair of dark jeans and a white long sleeve shirt walks up to the driver's side door, hops in and takes off. Nadine Williams manages the salon just feet away from where the crime happened.
It's tossed in the middle of the street in front of a car. It was actually very scary, very shocking that someone would do an old man like that.
The thief did get away and is still on the run. The car owner suffered some scratches and bruises, narrowly missed getting hit by a car there. Not seriously injured, though. If you have any information, you're asked to please call the Stockton Police Department.
Well, new this morning, video from Ohio is showing a police officer accidentally tasing his partner. Here's a look. 2 officers are out responding to a domestic call on Thanksgiving. A man inside a car refuses to show his ID. Then, after repeated requests, the officers pull him from the car. And in the struggle, an officer used his stun gun, but one of those prongs actually hit his partner. The officer was taken to the hospital for some minor injuries. The officer who fired the stun gun is on the job.
Chicago neighborhood has created their own package patrol after several deliveries were stolen earlier this week. Take a look here. Surveillance video shows a home there. Thief pulls up, U-Haul truck, parks a few blocks away, then walks up, grabs this package right off the porch, then goes next door and takes a box of diapers on the porch. But from a block away, you could hear this woman. She starts yelling for the thief to put that package down. He took off. A neighbor says she confronted another package prowler Wednesday night. This one willingly handed over the gift before running away.
I started yelling toward them, those aren't his packages, he's stealing packages, and we all sort of surrounded him, and he just handed it over and slowly walked off.
Two women say this is a great idea. They have a text chain between about a dozen neighbors. Everyone's aware of when packages are being delivered and where, so they're keeping a lookout. If they notice something suspicious, they text each other. It's quite a little machine they got going there.
A lot of times you get a text or an email saying, hey, your package is on the way, or it has been delivered, and that way you can at least lower the probability that somebody
You got people watching out for you, too.
I know your neighbors, too.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Very important. Let's get a check on money news now. Headed over to money expert Kelly Brothers. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, the first person to come up with a real solution in terms of security on the porch, or maybe transforming a mailbox into a bigger box that could accept those sort of packages in a safe way. Woo, there's a big profit opportunity right there. Market overall yesterday was a profit opportunity. Up over 330 points was the Dow. The final day in November, it turned out to be a very good month. It was all based on the prospect for tax reform. If that starts to fall apart, you could see this market begin to sell off a little bit. But so far, the Senate is holding in there. We'll see how it turns out. Checking the real-time numbers this morning, we're off and trading on the first day of December, and the Dow off by about 20 points in early trading. Disney is suing Redbox to stop it from selling digital copies of its movies. Redbox recently began offering consumers codes they can use to download films like Cars 3 or Star Wars. It charges between $7 and $14, less than a movie download on iTunes. Redbox only offers digital copies of Disney movies because it doesn't have a distribution deal with the studio. General Motors getting ready to take on Uber, Lyft, and other ride-hailing companies. GM says it plans to launch its own self-driving ride-hailing service within the next few years. It's already operating self-driving Chevy Bolt vehicles in San Francisco as part of a test. The automaker expects the initial cost to the passengers in the early stages of the program will be about $1.50 a mile. That's about 40% less than the cost of other ride-hailing services. And pharmacy owners shaking a little bit this morning on word that Amazon is in talks with generic drug makers about opening up Amazon Pharmacy. That's Look at Your Money. Back to you guys.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Right. 6:42 right now, a royal engagement.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle step out for their first royal event together. The excitement at their first appearance there. Apparently, everyone's loving them.
Looks like a few people showed up. Yeah.
And keep an eye on that fog for you this Friday as you head out the door, where it's the thickest and where it may cause some slowdowns just ahead.
And we're also looking closer at that fog, where it has thickened up this morning, when it will clear, and what's ahead for the weekend. This first weekend of December is here. I'll show you when you may need the umbrellas. Coming up next.
I want to go back now to our breaking news. Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn will plead guilty to lying to the FBI about talks he had with a Russian ambassador.
KCRA 3's Jennifer Davis monitoring what's happened this morning. Jennifer?
Hi there. Good morning, Teo and Deirdre. It's all laid out in these documents released this morning by the special counsel's office. They detail exactly why the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn has been charged with lying to the FBI. Now, Flynn is scheduled to appear at a plea hearing in less than an hour at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. According to analysts, he is expected to plead guilty. These charges stem from a conversation he had with the Russian ambassador last December. The plea may be an indication that Flynn is cooperating with the special counsel's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Flynn was forced to resign in February as the president's national security advisor. He is a retired three-star general. He has now been charged with a federal crime. This is the second person in President Trump's circle to plead guilty to lying to the FBI. It is the fourth person to be charged as part of the special counsel's investigation. The others include, that includes President Trump's campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. Back to you, Will.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. It is 6:46 now. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have embarked on their first royal visit since announcing their engagement this week.
NBC's Kelly Kobiea is in Nottingham now with their appearance that happened earlier today.
Teo and Deirdre, good morning. This is a very big day for Prince Harry and his bride-to-be, Meghan Markle. Some people were out here in Nottingham 3 hours in advance hoping to catch a glimpse, maybe get a selfie with the prince and his fiancée on their very first public outing together. And they really weren't disappointed. The couple spent about a half an hour working the crowds. Meghan at times going off on her own, approaching people, taking bouquets, thanking them for coming out. They're here to mark World AIDS Day as well as to visit some youth programs that Harry founded a couple of years back. And we'll take you to some of those events coming up on the Today Show.
All right, thank you, Kelly.
All right, cold out there this morning.
Yeah, it definitely has
Cool
been
start.
kind of that time of year, Tamara. As we know, it is December 1st, and the cool is on.
Yeah, it is. Temperatures right now in the 30s for most of you, and you may be driving through a little bit of fog as you prep for your Friday travel plans. The weekend is here, and yes, we're opening the book up into December. Live look outside as we get closer to sunrise over Fairfield. Good morning, Solano County. You can see a lot of buzz there on Interstate 80 as folks are getting in and out of that area. Temperatures are in the upper 30s right now. Skies are actually mostly clear and the wind is calm. Fog is not really an issue for our Solano County folks, but as you get west of Fairfield, if you're traveling out towards the bay, you may encounter some fog as you get closer to the coast. Lake Tahoe right now, 25 degrees. Skies are mostly clear as we overlook some of those snow-covered mountain peaks. South wind is light at 6 miles per hour, and over the weekend in the Sierra, we could be adding a little bit more snow to some of the mountains there around Tahoe. Visibility right now down to 5 miles in Sacramento. Some of the thicker fog you can see out extending into Natomas, parts of Woodland, and out near Sac International Airport. But the thickest fog I have for the commute right now is centered in this zone from Stockton in through Ceres, Keys, Manteca, Modesto, and then once you travel south of Modesto, it really is socked in. And we have dense fog advisories there through about 11 o'clock this morning. Today is the first day of December, and it's going to come in feeling very much like we left November. 62 the forecast high on this first day of December. Average this time of year is in the upper 50s typically, and I do think that as we get into the weekend, we're going to see that slide back closer to average temperatures as we watch these changes move in. Weather system is on the approach, generated in the Gulf of Alaska, so it has some cold air associated with it and a little bit of moisture. That's going to move southeast as we prep for Saturday, and this is going to bring the changes to our forecast, beginning with the Sierra, where we could see some scattered snow showers develop as early as tomorrow afternoon. Forecast today, traveling up and over the mountain pass, though, just fine. We're in the low 50s and it's partly cloudy. Saturday, though, that increase in clouds will move in throughout the day, and then snow showers will begin around 5,800 feet by tomorrow afternoon. So if you're in the Truckee area, be prepared and maybe a little slow and go on those roadways around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By Sunday, the snow line will drop closer to 4,000 feet, and that's when the snow could really start sticking to the roadways there, and we may see a period where chain controls go up in the mountains, especially early Sunday before the sun peaks out. Here's our futurecast showing you when we could see those increasing clouds in the valley. Again, that'll happen throughout the day on Saturday. This is 7 o'clock with futurecast, and there's the northern mountains featured. Plumas County first to get hit with some of that rain and mountain snow, and then that band of rain, you can see it really travels east of Sacramento County. So if you're along the west slope, you have a better chance you may squeeze out some measurable rainfall with that system, but it all clears out by Sunday early morning, and then things will be left dry as we get into Sunday time frame. So I do think that over the weekend, if you have plans outdoors, keep them intact. It is going to be cool and then turns breezy by Monday. Temperatures in the upper 50s, as mentioned, getting back to average over the weekend. CIM is going to be dry, as Dirk was showing us earlier in the broadcast. So not a whole lot to worry about. It's just really that time frame when the snow comes down and sticks to the roadways early Sunday before sunrise.
All righty, sounds good. Thank you, Tamara.
Overall, really nice weekend
Yes.
coming up. All right, let's go ahead and get a check on traffic. Fog once again is out there.
It is, and as you head out the door, we do have a fog advisory from the CHP further south of Modesto in the Turlock Ceres area. And this is actually a look at what it looks like along 99 in Turlock, and you can really see the haze out there. Also seeing it the closer you get through to Ceres and even towards Modesto around Crow's Landing as you head out the door. Also seeing some fog as you head on 99 through the Manteca area this morning. This is a look right at that 120-99 connector, and you can see the haze out there. Stepping out in the Sacramento area, take a look at this camera shot shot. This is I-5 at Laguna, and you can really see how foggy it is out there. And that is where I'm seeing a lot of it as you head towards Sacramento on 99 and I-5, heading out from Elk Grove through the Pocket area, South Sacramento. As you head towards the airport, seeing a little bit of fog there. Been keeping an eye on cameras on Interstate 80 and 65 up near the Lincoln-Roseville area. Things are looking good there, but as we see the sun start to rise, it may get a little bit worse. I'll keep an eye on it for you, though. Guys, back to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Well, West Sacramento will light its Christmas tree tonight. City's holding a holiday celebration in front of City Hall from 6 to 9. There'll be live music, snacks, and shopping, as well as a kids' activity station. Of course, Santa will be there to take pictures. And in Folsom, 5 choirs, 2 dance troupes, a band, and a train, and a partridge, and a pear tree will help with the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. It is also from 6 to 9 in Old Folsom. The tree lights up at 7:30. More praise for a film putting Sacramento right in the spotlight. The New York Critics Circle is loving Lady Bird.
Lady Bird, is that your given name?
Yeah.
Why is it in quotes?
I gave it to myself. It's given to me by me.
You're tired, we can sit down. Lady Bird.
Lady Bird.
Film Critics Group has named it the best film of 2017. Sacramento native Greta Gerwig wrote and directed that coming-of-age movie that's set in the capital city. The film's lead actress is 23-year-old Saoirse Ronan. She was named the best actress as well. And Saoirse will host Saturday Night Live this week. You can catch it live right here on KCRA 3 tomorrow night at 8:30. It gets better. U2 is doing the music.
That's awesome.
It's all Ireland,
Ireland.
Saturday night. So enjoy that, and we'll be back in just a minute. Producer. Welcome back. It is 6:55.
Here's a look at the top stories we're following this morning. In breaking news, former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn been charged for lying to the FBI in the Russia investigation. NBC News reports he is expected to plead guilty to making false statements about conversations he had with a Russian ambassador. Flynn is the 4th person to be charged in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation.
And the 35th annual California International Marathon takes to the streets of Sacramento on Sunday. The event is drawing 18,000 runners, the largest field yet, also hosting the U.S. National Marathon Championship, where a national champion will be crowned here for men and women. You can expect some road closures and a whole lot of fun Sunday morning.
And watching some fog work its way across parts of the valley yet again on this first day of December. Be prepared. It is the thickest in Stockton and Modesto currently. Around Sacramento, skies are turning a little hazy as the sun is coming up right now. Temperatures are in the 30s. We get into the upper 40s by 9 a.m. and then in through the afternoon, we should see a high today of about 62 degrees under